what not to do in certain situations. It's crazy.
But I mean, that's a huge rant of mine. That a huge issue with kids today is they have no idea how to interact with people in person because it is all
it's
text.
a borderline addiction. It really is.
No, it's a displacement because I mean it's easier to text, it's easier to message.
I have friends now, Jeff, that they'll come over to my house and grab their phone and look at YouTube videos. We'll take them to the bar, look at YouTube videos.
Right,
like that's all they do or know how to talk about is look at YouTube videos.
Well, and that was a big thing. One of the business guys that was in there as in a advisory type of position. He's like, that's a big issue. Where I was telling Dave this earlier before we came on the air that a lot of these students are not taking notes. They're actually taking pictures of the whiteboard and transcribing it later, so they have it on their iPad or on their iPhone. And his point was, they're doing that and they're enabling the technology, and that maybe that's good for them. But his point was, they're not learning how to write. They're not.
Do you see people? I see people in the business world all the time take pictures of PowerPoint presentations, like when executives are up.
Right.
Like, what are you doing with that picture? Like, you're not looking at that ever again. Oh my God!
Is he here? Is he?
Yeah, he's absolutely here.
So speaking of which, we got a couple guest stars.
We totally forgot to do that.
Yeah, we got a couple.
I guess we should cover business. So the phone number is 313-462-0107.
Welcome.
You can hit us at IT and the D on Twitter,
Facebook.
There's a 603 number calling in. I guarantee you, this is my buddy Joel.
IT and the D, you're on the air.
Hello,
Joel.
Yo.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, my man?
Nothing. So we were just having the whole conversation about D-bags from our past finding us on social media.
I heard. By the way, should I cover with the first time, long time?
Right.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do for these?
Right. So yeah, I mean it's a fascinating thing, and I published my own story about it back where. They had a guy that basically showed up, from 25 years ago and said, "Hey, if you don't give me $1,000, I'm going to tell everybody, you used to do drugs and you used to be not a nice person."
Have a seat, my friend.
And and the perspective was, when a friend of mine actually posted on my wall and said, "Yeah, if you don't pay me $1,000, I'm going to tell everybody you like Star Wars."
Yeah,
exactly. All those deep dark secrets that I keep hidden so well that I don't publish about on my own.
Hey.
Well, but the truth of the matter is that you did do drugs and you weren't nice. No, you were nice to people.
and I own that completely. I was I went through a very dark, bad time.
Up
after
until
my
about
mom died.
5 years ago, you were a rotten SOB.
You didn't know me when I was like 17 and 18 years old.
No, but I mean, even on the internet troll-wise, you were the biggest SOB.
Oh, yeah, no, dude.
I was going to say, weren't you guys like deep into that whole messaging board thing?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Still, not so much anymore.
But yeah, it was pretty bad there for a while.
So let's talk about the latest troll du jour, Joel. How did that all come about?
Well, social media is just the bane of everybody's existence.
It's the best of times and the worst of times, is what it is.
Yeah, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times, and I got the T-shirt, and now I use it as a rag. So it's one of those situations where it was really weird. As you know, I have a page for the high school reunion kind of thing, or if it ever gets planned, if it never gets planned, whatever.
Yeah, that's been going off and on and off and on for the last 5 years. Yeah,
I did that for ours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, once in a while I get the odd request. Now, what he had done is he had actually chosen a name that was very close to somebody else that we went to high school.
Oh yeah, Steve Slocum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to call. You're going to just call everyone out on this show tonight, aren't you?
Maybe it's his brother. I don't know.
You
kind of do a quick search, and it's like, I don't see Steve on Facey Face, so maybe he's keeping track for him, kind of thing.
Right.
There are people who don't use social media. It's rare, but they are out there. So, I friended him, or he friended me, or I don't even remember, to be honest with you. And it's just kind of one of those. You start noticing he shows up, and on occasional, I'll rant about something, and he'll come in and put in his 2 cents. No big deal, and you just kind of think, oh, what a dick. And but just this recent instance, I had changed my profile picture of my sexy Power Ranger suit for my motorcycle, and he commented on, you were a dork in high school and you're still a dork. And
when was the last time you talked to him?
I'm going to go with 25 years ago.
When was the last time you talked to him? Was
any of us saw this guy?
Really?
And Dave hit it right on the head, and it was one of those, somebody else kind of figured out who it really was and kind of hit me with a message. And once I found out who it was or figured it out, some of the things he was saying, it was like, oh my God, I'm right back in the 4th and 6th grade kind of thing. And then I just started laughing. I mean, I could not stop laughing.
What name was he using? Just something random?
No, it was a name. It was a name that was really close to a guy that we actually went to high school
so
with.
random. Okay.
So we were like, oh yeah, Slocum. That's
Schmeev Schmokum. Yeah.
Right.
What could it be?
Well, he just kept, he started like hitting me with messages, and I just kind of was like, wow, this is kind of getting entertaining now. And I started, waiting for the next message that would be, geez, Earl, why don't you get a little original, for crying out loud?
Well, yeah, and that's the crazy part is apparently it's not just you. I mean, I guess he did the same thing to Sandy. He did the same thing to a couple other folks.
What was his point, though?
Just being a retroactive
really was
douche.
No point.
But you're 40.
Clearly, somebody has way too much time on their hands. That's what it is.
But that's
and they're bored out of their life.
It was so bizarre in that, and that's what became so comical about it, is that it was like he was still in recess playground.
Well, it's that gross point blank. Do you really think there's some stored up conflict between the two of us? That there is no us. There is no conflict.
Well, I grew up. What have you done?
Yeah. What do you want to do here, man?
I really haven't grown up.
Yeah,
I
have a life now. What do you have?
Facebook official. You're not in a relationship.
Facebook official.
Yeah, Facebook official.
No, but like back in the message form days, though, you could make your name like alcoholic. Right, like back in the message form, like you could make your name whatever you wanted to. It's like something stupid. Now it's like you can't get away from your real name, so it's like almost like it.
Yeah, Google won't even let you have a fake, fake name. They force you to use your real name. They force you
to use your real name. So like the
sure they do, because we're DetroitNet.org.
Well, that's a page, not an individual account.
Well, no, that's our Google Plus account.
But like when you go on,
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we're first name DetroitNet, last name .org.
So if you notice though, like all the news sites these days,
I forgot about that.
All the news sites like Free Press and all, they've integrated to Facebook, so you have to use your real name. So like everyone used to spew out like this racist, hateful. Now it's like, well, no shit, it's my name. I can't.
And that's why I love the Onion. Actually,
you can't be anonymous anymore.
No, the Onion published yet another great story today that says news site calls random race baiting and flame wars between its readers intelligent discussion.
There's nothing good that comes. Have you ever read half the stuff like on anything, like on any political site? Look at the comments. It's the most.
It's like Dig or Reddit. I mean, you could waste an entire day just
worst
pulling your hair out.
Oh yeah. So I mean, but
or
Joel,
like reading YouTube comments.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
But I mean, Joel, getting back to this, I mean, and it's like I threw out there earlier today. I mean, it's the moral of the story is, if nothing else, it's a good lesson and exercise in paying closer attention to who you accept and make friend requests with.
Right.
And
yeah.
You had an issue with that a few years ago.
And locking down your profile.
Not really doing, but again, it's still comical, and I've been taking like the screenshots of everything for posterity, and
you can't
kind of having a blast with it.
You can't lock down our profiles.
Yeah, Dave, you can't lock down your profile.
Well, no, you can't hide. You can't hide from graph search anymore, and that's actually been there for a long time because now they're wholly depending on how you have your profile set up with regards to your posts, your pictures, and everything else, and where you have your sharing settings at.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a personal experience right now that to go in further with it. I'm in IT. I also have a clearance, and every 5 years you get reinvestigated.
What's the vector, Victor?
Yeah, exactly. And
over under.
So right now they have just started. It's a social engineering profile search, and what they do, and mine was a 75-page report of my online presence.
I do not want to see mine.
No, I don't want to.
Wait, say that. Wait, say that again.
You had a 75-page
they do a social engineering report, and basically what they'll do is they go, they basically, if you make the mistake of supplying more than one or two email addresses, which I supplied 3, I have 3 major ones that I check, including the work one.
Oh my goodness.
So that would be reason number 58. Dave can never run for Congress.
Mistake number 1: oversharing.
Yeah, this guy actually comes in and he sits down and he he's a private investigator that the government hires, and they whip out this book, and literally it's a book. And he hands it to me, and he says, basically, you're going to have to handwrite any explanations for anything that shows up in this report. And of course, the first 10 pages are who you are, what presence you have,
Nice.
what they found, what websites they found that you might own. Which I have beerdrinkersunited.com. I have a whole bunch of other stuff. And
we can never have.
Next thing I know, I flip the page, and the very first picture is a profile picture that I haven't used for over a year, and it was when the Patriots lost one of the championship games, and it's me giving the finger to the person taking the picture.
Nice.
That's the first thing on the report.
Wow.
And it just kept on going, and then then it finds your blog posts, and of course it highlights all the 7 dirty words that you're not supposed to say on television. And
I could never. Note to self: don't ever try to get clearance.
All right, well, hey,
I don't think you can get it, Bob.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because the first thing they do is interview your friends, and that's us.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, hey, Joel, thanks for calling in, man. We're actually coming up against a break, so I'm going to cut you loose, all right?
All right, man.
Bye, Joel.
And start thinking about NewHampshireNet.org and when we're going to launch that.
Oh.
I know. I'm horrible, and I actually do need to do it because I am on the hunt.
I know. We started talking about this.
Register IT in the NH. Does that have a ring to it?
IT in the IT in the 603, maybe.
There you go. All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
So, we got a couple guests coming up after the break. We got Davina Beh here from iTalent, and Scott Sabellico just showed up from PLA, who fell asleep in the basement, and we had to call him 18 times, and I didn't know it was today.
Convince him
Good
with
job,
PBR.
Scott.
So we will be talking to those two after the break. This is
on the washing machine.
Really? You got your wife off it? Awesome.
This is the IT and the D show.
When will then be now? Soon. How soon?
I'm the sun and the air.
Fear not, ranger, barbarian, magician, thief, cavalier, and acrobat.
Who was that?
That was Venger, the force of evil. I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm.
What year did that come out? Was that 81, 82?
Oh, yeah.
Warrior needs food badly.
Yeah.
New warrior needs food.
Valkyrie needs food.
This is
Gauntlet. God, I loved Gauntlet.
That was a great game.
This is going to be one of those shows.
It is.
Welcome back to the IT and the D show. This is the IT and the D show here at Raw Radio X Studios, presented by DetroitNet.org.
IT and the D.
In beautiful Midtown.
Who owns?
Who owned the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah, this is episode 15. Who owned the Chiefs?
Owns.
We had a couple guests that Dave confirmed with.
Before we hit to that, though, so we've got the phone number, which is 313-462-0107.
That number again is 176.
Is 867-5309. You can
We remind callers to use proper language.
That's right. Yeah. Keep it above board, please.
Right, because, the professional show that we are. You can find us on Twitter at IT and the D. You can hit us there. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/IT and the D.
So Dave confirms that one of the guests that's actually been on the show before, Scott Sabellico.
Forgot how to get here, I think.
No. So Dave's like, hey, Scott says, I'll be there Monday. And Dave goes, great, see you there. Then Scott's like, dude, you didn't confirm. And we're like, are you kidding? What else do we need to do? Do we need to send a car next time?
I was waiting for my car.
Is that how you roll now, Scott?
Yeah. Install the Uber app on your phone. You'll be fine.
And Scott, if you bring your guest, we will have you on every week for the rest of your life, by the way. We have Melinda Was it Melinda Ann Prince?
Melinda Ann Prince.
You are a sports reporter for
WCHB and WROM.
What is that for people that don't know?
Radio 1 Detroit. And
Okay.
WROM is internet radio.
Okay.
So WCHB for 4 years.
Okay,
So I
nice.
cover the Tigers and Pistons specifically.
So you get press passes for